Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
I'm gonna have to come with you. No. When do we start?
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Yes.
Damn it, every time. Now you're doing it on purpose.
Yes.
Ah, son of a bitch. I'm Zach, and I'm here, as always, with the co-host, Jared.
Are you here? Like, what is here? Define here.
I don't know, let's
get a little existential with this.
let's not.
Who are you? What is us?
I'm a tired man.
Okay.
I'm a tired man who is sick yet again.
Oh, that sucks for you.
That's something I'm not going to miss about the store, just because you literally never stop working. I've been baseline sick for the last 5 years. And sometimes it flares up worse than other, but
Maybe you should be like, go see a doctor.
No, I'm just overworked and overtired.
Underappreciated.
I mean, always and forever.
Not as underappreciated as I am on this show. I am the show.
I swear to God, you have some abused spouse syndrome. Like, I said something, spoilers, we saw the Super Bowl, and I said something to someone, and you're like, what? I didn't do that. I'm like, I wasn't talking to you.
Do you ever think it's because you verbally berated me?
It's
Remember the early part of the show where someone messaged the show and said, thanks for helping me reconcile with my friend because you were so bad to Jared, I felt guilty.
It's not quite how it went, but yeah, it's the gist.
Yeah, pretty much. You treated me so poorly, this guy apologized to something he did to his friend.
This week,
How about this?
we have pop culture news.
Let me do it because you're obviously struggling.
All right, because that's my third attempt. I cut out the other ones.
Yeah, you did. This week on the show, as always, pop culture news. We're going to take a look at this week in comics history. Some real interesting stuff if you like Muhammad Ali.
It's true.
Also, Jared's sports reports. And we're going to take a look at what happens before Picard. There's a 3-issue run called Picard Countdown. We review that all this week on the show. Plus your questions.
Different this week. I'm going to introduce a new segment.
Oh, a new segment.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we'll get to that towards the end. Mostly because next week is our 200th episode. So if you could write in questions for us to answer when we do these big episodes, we like to get a whole slew of questions in.
Yes.
So write them in at editorsnotecomics@gmail.com.
gmail.com.
But before we start, we're going to have a new weekly segment for the time being. Much like what we did with The Mandalorian, we're going to take a quick look at the last episode of Picard. So we're going to talk about episode 2 with a peek at Picard. I like alliteration.
I like it. That's very good. A PP. A PAP. A PAP.
Smear.
No. Can't go. A P squared.
This one, still very good, but this was a big exposition dump episode.
Yeah. A lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's get you caught up.
Which is fine. There's a lot
Hell
of...
yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that too. You like to take a thing and just repeat it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got to see Mars getting set on fire with all of the synthetics that apparently are overwritten at the last minute, as they do it on First Contact Day. You know, the day that Zephyr Cochrane came down. He was probably drunk and met some Vulcans.
Yes, he was.
Good times. It just overall wasn't as interesting as the first one, but I also understand the need for this episode. This is literally moving all of the pieces. I like seeing, I'm forgetting the new doctor, the twin who's Data's daughter. Spoilers.
Yes.
But I liked her a lot. I like that they're showing, for lack of a better term, like all of her humanity when dealing with the Borg. I'm very interested in the Borg. It's also super gross.
Yes, they're dismantling the Borg.
All these reclaimed Borg.
Yes. Also, what's going on with we kind of get more on the bad Romulan dude.
Yeah. Star Trek's a different world now where they're just like, he's hot.
He's hot. They're having Romulan sex.
It's probably... Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to venture further into that, but it's probably pretty normal.
I would think so. I mean, what is he going to... Like, he obviously knows, like, that she is a synthetic.
Yeah, well, he's trying to infiltrate.
Yeah, well, he infiltrated all right.
Pants.
Yeah, he did.
This is something Star Trek Discovery's been doing, and it still sounds weird to my ear.
F-bombs?
Yeah.
I don't think I like him in Star Trek.
Yeah, it feels like we've moved beyond that somehow.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Like, we've seen some stuff in Star Trek, and now they're like, now is the time to curse. Which, it's fine, but it just kind of pulls me out for a second whenever it happens. I'm like, okay, we're doing that. Because we're not on a network, I get you.
But we get a sensation that, the Romulans are the bad guys, again.
Usually are.
Yeah, and the something Vosh.
Yeah. More Romulan Secret Service agents.
The Tal Shiar.
I feel like there's a lot of those.
Yes, there are. Secrets permeate themselves to the Romulan Empire.
I mean, Starfleet has one of those too. At what, like Section 38?
Something like yes.
Yeah, 39, something like that.
Behind the Moon Titan.
I did like that they mentioned Geordi's name in this because
LaForge.
in the comic that we're gonna do, it kind of leaves a question. I'm like, is he dead? But this episode comes out and says no.
No, he's very much good.
We don't know if he's good, but we know he's alive.
He's very much alive.
I also thought it was funny, the Romulan that's living with Picard, he's like, you need to assemble a team. Riker, Worf, LaForge.
No, he said LaForge. Like he didn't say LaForge.
Basically, he listed everyone but the women, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes.
I was like, there's only 2 more. You couldn't say 2 more names?
No, he couldn't.
But whatever.
Shut up, Wesley.
I don't think he's coming back.
No, he's not.
No one wants that. I don't even know if Will Wheaton wants that. He is doing an after show on YouTube, which is pretty interesting. But I think he's more of a fan now at this point and doesn't want to really deal with the Trek fans after being constantly told to shut up for 30 years.
Yeah.
But what do I know? Maybe he'll be back. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
No, I'm excited for tomorrow's episode. Well, Thursday's episode.
Yeah, it'll be out by the time this is out, but that's fine. I'm going to sit back, watch some Picard, and see a team assembled. Also with his cranky old first officer, because we met her in a comic.
Yes.
All right, that's a peek at Picard. So from there, let's move on to the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Here's a big one that's just dropping this evening. It's a report and a rumor, so don't take it as fact.
Okay.
Sam Raimi might be back to direct Doctor Strange 2.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I buy that. He has kind of a weird frenetic style, and that's kind of something I liked about Thor Ragnarok is when he was kind of jumping around in that Raimi-ish way. So I don't know, I could totally buy it. On the other hand, I was like, what are his last movies? The last 3 of his that he's done have been terrible. So...
Well, it's not like he's not going to have a lot of money to work with and an ability to.
Of course he will. If he does a Doctor Strange sequel, he'll have a lot of money to work with.
Yes. Because that's going to be, what, Doctor Strange and
The Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
He hasn't directed a good movie since Spider-Man 2.
That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That's a real long time ago.
He keeps on getting put in director's jail, getting out, making a bad movie,
Yeah.
getting put back in director's jail.
Oh, go back. We put you in there for a reason, and you've reminded us why.
Because he did Spider-Man 3, which I don't think is his fault that it's bad, but it's still not a good movie.
No, I mean, he tried his best.
Drag Me to Hell, trying to recapture some of that Evil Dead energy, and it wasn't great. And that awful James Franco Wizard of Oz movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was the last thing he did. I saw that in theaters.
You paid money to see that?
Ugh. I paid money to see all these. I saw all these movies in theaters.
It's true. I didn't see the Wizard of Oz one in the theaters.
It's no good. So I don't know.
No bueno.
Makes me excited, but at the same time, the waters feel a little untested again. If you haven't done something good since 2004.
That's coming on 20 years now.
He was doing stuff with Ash vs. Evil Dead on Stars, which is all good. We only directed one of those, so I don't know. We'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic if it goes through.
Oh, that's good.
The big game happened this weekend. We won't say the other name because no one holds on to their license harder than that organization.
Oh.
They would never find us and care, but at the same time, I just think it's stupid.
You can say the Super Bowl.
No. The big game.
The Super Bowl.
Don't tempt fates.
I am. I'm feeling racy.
Well, there were a couple Marvel trailers. I was wrong. I thought we were going to get Eternals, and I didn't think we were going to get Black Widow, so shows what I know.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Black Widow, fine, whatever. More of the same. It's probably going to be fine. At this point, I don't really have a lot to say about Black Widow. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Is it going to be great? Could be. But there's nothing in the marketing material that I'm like, yeah, this is the one.
It's just, it kind of like falls in a weird spot in the continuum. Like, what purpose does it serve?
If you could give me a fun espionage movie, totally do that. But it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to be espionage-y and maybe more action-y. So we'll see.
Could it be a little bit of both?
It could be a little bit
Speaking
of both.
of the espionage, there was a James Bond teaser.
There was. Hopefully this is good.
Looks like it could be good.
Well, if we're going to the rule of this new series, it's good one, bad one, good one, bad one. So it's time for a good one again.
Oh, like the odd number rule in Star Trek.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah. The even number. Sorry, 2, 4. Yeah, it's the even rule in Star Trek.
Yeah. I still think it looks pretty cool, though. I'm excited.
Yeah. Especially how it's going to change things. It's going to change the Bond universe, and I'm excited for that.
I feel like that comes out on like the same weekend as something else, though. Like it's going up. Maybe it's going up against New Mutants.
Or is it New Mutants is going up against that?
Yeah, probably that one.
Yes.
New Mutants is a sad underdog.
Very much so.
Got our first footage of Disney Plus. I mean, not a ton there. Not that we didn't already know. We see Zemo. We see Sam with a shield. We see Winter Soldier just being a sad boy. Sometimes he's shaking a hand.
There's some Loki.
There is, just for a second. That one's actually one of the more interesting ones. Like the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff. This kind of looks par for the course. Also, this looks movie quality, which doesn't surprise me.
No, they're putting big money behind it.
But it looks like Loki's been captured, and if you look at his jumpsuit, it says TVA on it. The Time Variance Authority.
Oh.
So he's jumping around time, and he gets kidnapped.
Well, remember, he did have the Space Stone.
Yeah, so totally. Do that. That seems like a fun idea. Also, what a ridiculous concept to bring in, the Time Variance Authority. They're going to have to say that out loud and with a straight face.
You just did it 3 times.
No one's throwing billions at me to do it, though. Or millions, at least.
Oh. I could say Time Variance Authority for $1,000.
Probably pretty easily.
Yes.
The WandaVision one, I think, probably looked the most interesting. We're seeing, it looks like Wanda just going crazy and jumping around with Vision in different sitcom eras, starting back in the 50s through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. No, I don't think there's any for the 2000s, but we saw sitcoms through the 90s. Like her and Vision together. We see they're twins, which is a thing from the comics. I think there was some construct that Scarlet Witch made, and then she goes crazy and they disappear or something. It's all what House of M is based on, and then they disappear forever. And Vision's like, yeah, those aren't real anymore. She's like, no, and she freaks out.
I wouldn't want to freak her out. She would
So we're gonna see
dangerous
made-up babies. I think we're also gonna see her powers for a change, which is nice. Versus does some mind stuff, does some red stuff.
The Crimson Bands of the Sidorak.
And we do see her comic-accurate costume for just a second, which is ridiculous looking.
Well, you know.
Vision is wearing a lot of the same clothes he was wearing in the recent Vision comic from, 2016?
Has he learned how to use doors?
I don't know. If he's in a sitcom, that could be a laugh track moment.
He just, oh, hello, here I am.
But release schedule, we're going to get, I think it was Captain Winter Soldier first, WandaVision, then Loki. Bring it on. They'll all be probably good. They look good, at least from, we saw 30 seconds, so it's not a ton to go on.
They will be entertaining.
Kathleen Kennedy, everyone's favorite scapegoat for Star Wars, was talking about Indiana Jones this week.
Ooh, Indy.
She confirmed that it is Harrison Ford's next movie.
Wow.
And that he is, in quotes, excited about doing it. Sure.
I'm not sure what the concept is going to be, but whatever.
I think you could
have an open mind towards it.
Do like what Magneto was doing in First Class. Have him hunting down old Nazis that escaped. That would, if I had to pitch a thing, because that was part of the problem with Crystal Skull, also the same writer for this one. You just want to see him going after a Nazi.
Or the Russians.
That was the problem with the last one.
There was
that
more
terrible accent.
It was still a good movie.
That Kate something, can't remember her name, did.
Kate Blanchett.
Yes. And speaking of Loki, that was a bad transition.
Yeah.
I should have done this one earlier.
By the way.
Owen Wilson has been cast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wally.
It's not quite what he sounds like, but yeah. Sure, why not? He's fine. It's not bad usually. He's done bad movies, but I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do.
Cast in what? Oh, in Loki?
They didn't clarify what he is.
Oh.
If I had to put money, I would put it on either Rick Jones, who has been everybody's sidekick and kind of a goofball, and sometimes he has superpowers.
Is he a lovable goofball?
Usually.
Oh, okay.
Or Balder the Brave. I think he has maybe a similar haircut to Balder.
Balderdash!
Who's another Norse god, and going back to the kind of Thor books, I remember Walt Simonson's runs, they go and find Balder, and he's just gotten really out of shape, so then they do a montage with a bunch of rocks, and then he's super ripped again.
I wish it were that easy.
So we might see a ripped Owen Wilson. I don't know if he is Balder, which I think is possible.
Yeah.
All right, comics news. This is a weird one, and I'm immediately put off by it.
Okay.
Thank God I'm out.
All right.
Partially.
I'm listening.
DC released their free comic book day titles today, including one of them called Generation Zero, which shows that Wally West has fused with Dr. Manhattan.
That seems dumb.
Leave it alone. You did a sequel. There was a successful show. Just leave Watchmen alone.
Stop poking it.
Leave Brittany alone.
Let it be.
And he's had a rough go at it recently. He was gone for 5 years, and then he came back and his wife and kids were gone, and then he murdered a bunch of his friends on accident, and now he's hopping around other dimensions saving things, but now he's gonna, get combined with Dr. Manhattan. It feels, I don't know. I don't know who's in charge of Wally, if whoever who's in the Flash office, but it feels like they're just throwing a bunch of crap at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, that's all you can do, I suppose.
I mean, check it out. It's free, so, go wet your whistle with that.
Nothing to lose there.
First Saturday in May. Go find your local comic book store.
Won't be one in Farmingdale or Hollowell.
No, there won't.
Are you going to be that guy that goes to free comic book day, though? And
no, I mean, there was Unless there's like something like really specific that I want. And when I used to go to them before, I would just show up, I'm like, I only want this one thing. They're like, you can have up to 5. I'm like, I just want the one. I don't care about the other ones.
But now that you've been on the other side, like, yes, you want all 5 of those things.
No, now I want them even less.
Are you going to continue to read comics?
I am going to trade weight now and just read a few.
Ah.
It sounds like a weird complaint, but I mean, everyone has that with their job. I'm kind of tired of reading like 20 books a week just to keep up, and a lot of them were mediocre. So just focusing on the stuff that I like, I'm all for it.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, versus, I know that's a weird complaint, like, I had to read a lot of comics, but it takes time and it's boring when they're bad.
Yeah, it's like having to watch bad TV.
Yeah. Strange Adventures has been turned into Black Label. That's where Batman's Wang was out, and that definitely won't happen in Strange Adventures. But they could say bad words now, like butt.
Oh, no, not butt.
I know.
What about dirty?
Probably.
Mud. Crap.
Easy does it.
Darn it.
Sure,
Cheese and crackers.
Why not? Let them go nuts.
Shut the front door.
Strange Adventures is one of the books I'm most looking forward to coming out. So, yeah, if you want to give it that mature edge, and I trust the people working on it to not, like, just buy into, like, well, because just because it's edgy means that we need to, push the envelope. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm all for it. And finally, Madeline Pryor is returning to the X-Men in the Hellions book. She was one of the weirdest and most complicated characters in X-Men history. She was Scott's wife, who looked exactly like Jean Grey right after Jean Grey died. And then there were a bunch of clones of her washing up on the shore that were dead. And then she had Scott's baby, and then he left her when Jean came back to life. Just literally left a voicemail. Beep. Yeah, he's like, you're in Alaska, I'm back in New York. Bye. Never coming back.
He's got, different area codes.
And then she turned evil and became the Goblin Queen with one of the most impractical costumes in all of comic book history.
Was it Scott's, like some of Scott's belongings that she stitched together as like a F you, Scott?
Well, with comics, how cleavage is usually at the top.
Yes.
All of hers is at the bottom, and then there's nothing in the middle. And then there's just a terry cloth flapping in the wind.
Oh, it seems very liberating to wear something like that.
I mean, it's going to flow, but I don't think it's going to stay up, especially if you're in a fight.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
It's also too long and flowy for a fight.
Have you ever worn anything long and flowy in a fight?
No.
It could be like a way to like distract people.
But that is it for the news. From there, we're going to move on to This Week in Comics History.
Superhero landing coming up.
This week in comics history.
All right, let's do this. We got some classics this week. In 1933, a radio serial began. Start a man on a horse.
That would be The Phantom.
That would be, you're not terribly wrong, The Lone Ranger.
Oh, that other one, yes.
The Lone Ranger kicked off in 1933. Great year for film. It's when Kong came out.
I was thinking comic book.
Yeah. Well, he's done a bunch of comics.
Good for the Lone Ranger, Kimosabe.
In 1936, on that same radio station, the Green Hornet began.
WRKO?
WXYZ.
Oh, close enough.
But still, they're kind of knocking it out of the park.
I guess they are. Yeah. Old-timey radio.
And then in 1939, while I'm not terribly interested in the original material, I am interested in what it inspired. Buck Rogers came out.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we like Buck Rogers.
And it's 12-part serial, both for its Star Wars influence and also did a bunch of Looney Tunes influences.
Duck Dodgers.
Exactly. Then this one is kind of a reminder for myself and also a promise for a future show. I know I just brought up confusing Madeline Pryor stuff. But in 1954, the character with maybe the most confusing legal standing, Marvel Man, kicked off in 1954 after Captain Marvel was removed from national publication for being too much like Superman. Basically, another one popped up called Marvel Man, and it's going to take a lot of research on my end to streamline that appropriately, because it is long and confusing. Future episode. In 1964, Daredevil #1 by Stan Lee and Bill Everett hit the pages.
The Man Without Fear.
Yeah, a couple of the early ones. It's a little wonky, because they kept on having different creators come in a lot in the early days. The co-creator, Bill Everett, I think I've told this story on the show before, but I'll tell it again. He was unfortunately an alcoholic, which screwed with his deadlines, so he never actually did a second issue of Daredevil. And also Jack Kirby helped with the design too, but he did the interiors. But because he was late on Daredevil #2, Stan went to Jack, he's like, we gotta pump something out. So they made the Avengers because they needed to have another book published that month.
Well, there you go.
Fun facts.
The rest is history.
Yeah, Daredevil early days, it bounces around a little bit until they get John Romita Sr. in on art. Also an unnecessary love triangle, but there were a lot of those in the 60s in Marvel Comics. Don't worry about it. Then in 1978, who was the greatest fighter on Earth, you ask?
Muhammad Ali.
Well, we would find out in Superman versus Muhammad Ali to stop an alien invasion.
The original Space Jam.
Yeah, basically. Holy crap, they stole that plot.
There you go.
If you look at the cover, it's a who's who of 70s celebrities. And when they went to get permission for some of them after the fact, they'd say no. They would just draw little mustaches on them so they looked different enough. Good enough.
Yeah, have a little goatee.
Basically, it was the mirror universe. Yeah, Superman's powers were zapped, and of course, Muhammad Ali did beat him. In 1984, this is a big issue of The Amazing Spider-Man, although not its first appearance, the first appearance of the Black Suit.
Spider-Man!
With a cover that's an homage to Amazing Fantasy 15. And man, there are a ton of these. I've sold so many of these. They don't go for like crazy money, but, good enough.
Yeah.
It's usually like depending on condition, like $60 to $80 book.
That's money.
And I've sold a lot of them. Not enough. And then finally, in 1992, Image Comics was formed. A bunch of Marvel staffers, including Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Wills Portatio.
There you go. Get it out.
I was going to say, and a couple other guys. I forgot. There were 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
They left Marvel one day. They're like, screw this. We're rock stars. And they started Image Comics where everything was going to be creator-owned. And they did make Rockstar money. They got rich. And now most of them don't work there anymore, but they still mostly own their own imprints. That was how it worked. Like, Image was an overall thing, but then they all owned their own individual imprints under Image. Yeah, they got stupid rich. And now Image is still out there putting out, pretty solid stuff.
Stupid rich.
Yeah. That is it for this week in comics history. And I'm so glad to sit back for a minute. Let you drive the ship.
All right. Well, there's not much to drive in the ship.
I need you to be Data. So, from the NFL Super Pro to the NFL Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you were the big game. I thought you were going to not call it by its name.
Well, it worked with that one comic.
All right, there you go.
We did it that one time, remember?
Yes, I remember.
It's time for Jared Sports Reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
All right. Well, the Super Bowl happened over the weekend, and the Kansas City Chiefs pull off their first Super Bowl victory in 50 years, which led to great parade footage, like people falling out of trees today.
It's a lot of beer.
There was a ton of beer. Patrick Mahomes pouring beer off the side of a float into Travis Kelce's mouth. Somebody pouring beer down the side of the Lombardi Trophy into Travis Kelce's mouth. A lot of these beer stories involve Travis Kelce's
mouth.
Let's see.
It was an entertaining enough game. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no skin in the game about any of these teams. But it's nice to watch a close game, especially a comeback like that late in the game.
Well, we saw one a couple years ago when the Patriots came back from 28-3.
I don't remember, but I believe you.
You had left, or you fell asleep.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's like the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Only Super Bowl game to go to overtime.
I don't remember it all.
That was against Atlanta. We were also at Mike's for that one.
Oh, so that would have been okay.
Like 3 years ago.
The commercials were fine.
Yeah, I mean everybody in New England held their collective breath when Tom Brady's commercial started about I have an announcement to make.
Yeah.
Like you knew he wasn't going to do it there, but he hooked you just enough. So bravo to you, Hulu, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, those. Not all of them, but a lot of those, like Hulu has live sports ads. A lot of them are pretty funny.
They are very funny.
Of course, the winner, and I think everyone agrees with this, is Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day was probably, that was the best commercial.
Ned Ryerson looks the same.
Well, I mean, he's been living in the same day for...
Yeah, you're right. That's
how many
it.
years?
That's why he looks the same.
I looked it up once, like how much time he had spent reliving the same day.
It's like 9,000 days or something
crazy. Yeah,
crazy.
A long time to live the same day over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because he has to do the same things every day to get the money, to be able to pay the piano teacher, to eat out every day.
I think he probably just did it in waves.
Yeah.
Like he just focused on one thing for years. I know that the movie ends happy with like the next day coming, but that must just break your brain.
Oh,
if you've lived multiple lifetimes on the same day over and over again, they didn't have the next moment where he just has a mental breakdown and starts screaming.
Although kind of sleazy, he sleeps with probably almost every woman in town.
I mean, if he can do it in a day.
It was more than a day. It's a repeated day over and over and over and over again.
I know, but he would have to go through like every scenario of like, well, this works, this did, and it would just be...
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to be doing? Learning the piano day by day and...
I guess learning to be a better person so you can get out of that horrible nightmare.
Yes, that's fair.
I still like how that movie just never explains it.
Yeah, like why it happened.
Yeah, nothing.
It just happens.
Yeah, cool with that.
See, other sports news, the Red Sox have traded away Mookie Betts and David Price to the Los Angeles Dodgers for pretty much nothing. Fans are in an
everyone's
outrage.
happy.
No. Far from it, in fact. I know it was sarcasm. I understand sarcasm. I know how it works.
Yeah, everyone's favorite player is gone.
Yes, like a generational, transformative franchise, the best player, gone. So is the equipment truck that left on Monday. They still don't have a manager, by the way. The XFL starts up this weekend.
Who cares?
I'm gonna watch the first game. Curious to see what the product is like and how the game is played and how good it is.
I just think it's wild that this whole thing exists because one rich nut job didn't like that people were kneeling during the national anthem, and that's why the XFL exists again.
No, it's not why it exists again. He's always wanted to go back and do it again after the XFL failed the first time and do it the right way and not turn it into a big wrestling show. Make it legitimate this time.
That was literally the hook. That's why it was called the extreme one.
Well, part of that was, if you've ever watched the 30 for 30 on it, it came on the heels of Dick Ebersol, his first year as president of NBC Sports. They lost the NFL bid, so they had no football, and they wanted to try and fill the football void. Fox and CBS got the football package. Now NBC has probably one of the most valuable football properties in football night in America and Sunday Night Football.
Now it's every night football.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't care at all. They did have fun, stupid names though.
He Hate Me. There was one guy who wanted to be called Teabagger.
It's a good way to get punched if you try and do that during a game.
Yes, that's why you have the face mask.
Okay, good.
That's it for sports reports.
Trade deadline coming up, and by the time this comes out, it's already passed, so there's no point speculating.
There you go.
There's not a lot to say. We're halfway through the season. Celtics had a great win over Philly. They lost the first 3 to them this season. A newish rivalry.
Yeah, that was a big win.
It's like a big win, too. Like they won by like 30. It was nuts. Tatum had an insane dunk. Yeah, the whole game was fun.
Yeah, I watched most of it.
Yeah, they're just kind of going along. All-Star break's about to come up. Kemba Walker's an all-star. Jason Tatum got there for the first year. He's also going back to the skills challenge, but who cares because skills challenge is boring. Everything in All-Star Weekend is boring.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to do the same thing I did last year. I'm going to watch the first 10 minutes of the game and then realize no one's trying and turn it off.
They try at the very, very end.
Yeah, with new weird rules this year. But yeah, so that's that. New York Knicks fired their president, so James Dolan is out looking for someone.
Yeah, it was a funny story. Like there was one sequence of events where like fans were yelling, "Sell the team." There was no hot water in the visitors' locker room. It was just a bad night at the Garden.
Then Marcus Morris got fined $35,000 for calling one of the other players a girl. Wow. Twice in a post-game interview.
Shame on... Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
He really reiterated. He's like, hang on, just to be clear, he had female tendencies. You know, the bad ones. So, yeah, he got fined $35K.
Understandably and rightfully so.
I do love that he doubled down on it. Just to be clear, in case you didn't hear me.
Yeah, I'm...
Female tendencies. Yeah, that's a bad look.
No, that's not what you want. No, absolutely not.
Not a good week for the Knicks, but when has it been a good week for the Knicks?
It's been some time, like probably back like Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a time they had Jeremy Lin. That was a good time for them.
It was a good time for him. People at least enjoyed watching them.
Yes.
But even that was 2012.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a hot second.
All right, that's it for basketball.
And that's it for sports reports.
You said that really, you slurred the word, even though I know you've only been drinking tea, like sports reports.
Yeah, my throat is killing me.
Some nice sports reports.
That is it for sports reports.
Enunciate.
I'll enunciate your face.
But from there, because, whenever we do Star Trek stuff, we get good numbers. We're going to do another Star Trek thing. It's true, though. Star Trek does well for us. People love the Star Trek. We're going to move on to talking about Star Trek Countdown to Picard. Or Countdown to Star Trek Picard. Something like that.
Picard Countdown.
Whatever. Theme.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
3 issues leading up to what happens before the show. All these were supposed to come out before the show actually happened, and then there was a delay on the last one, so it didn't quite work out.
Whoopsie-doo.
We were also going to do it ahead of time. I had to flip the script.
Why'd you flip the script?
Well, because I wanted to do it before the show started, but then it wasn't all out.
Ah.
So we had to wait, too.
Well, there it is. So this takes place and kind of gives some backstory and some exposition into what led up to
the attack
Picard,
on Mars.
The attack on Mars. Plus, we get to a better understanding where the Romulans who are living with Picard come from and what the relationship to him is.
Yeah, totally up front. I think I'm just going to talk. I think a lot of people will probably be interested, but probably won't pick it up. Although I do recommend you do. I thought this was a lot of fun. It was written by one of the show writers. I think there was a co-writer on it as well. Sorry, I didn't write it down.
I almost said there are 4 lights, but those were Cardassians.
Yeah. But overall, I think this is really good. I think you should pick it up. But yeah, we'll just talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Picard is an admiral now, 15 years ago, so like 3 years after Nemesis.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't like the uniforms.
No, I don't like the uniforms either, but it is what it is. He's also not on the Enterprise.
No, it's the Verity.
It's a very big ship.
Yeah. And one of the things that we see is he has a first officer who really gets along with him, Raffi, who we saw briefly at the end of episode 2. And oh man, they're just the best of friends. She calls him JL.
Yes.
Which is annoying.
Yeah, it's not. He stands on tradition. Remember that happened in the deleted scene? No, it wasn't a deleted scene. When the new first officer comes on. And
right, yeah.
He likes being very casual. He's not a by-the-book officer.
He's like, sup, Picard? What's up? It's the early 2000s.
And he's like, Jean-Luc? He's like, excuse me?
Let's drink a Mountain Dew Red, or whatever they were called.
Captain Riker was pulling my leg, wasn't he?
One nice thing that we do get, which I mean, like, I want to see everyone back, is we do get to see Geordi in this a couple of times, who is on Mars. So if it's written by a show writer, they definitely have a connection to the show. So I'd like to see Geordi's report of, like, things went downhill fast.
Yeah, things weren't good.
Do you know how I knew probably the most about synthetics? I don't know what happened that day.
Yeah. My best friend was a synthetic, and he never treated me like that.
Maybe Geordi's the villain.
Oh, maybe he's a little
weird
spy.
I'd take it, though. If you're just like, Geordi's evil now. He got tired of being kidnapped.
Yeah, or beat up, or thrown around, or be turned into a nocturnal animal.
But
wow, you're struggling there.
I'm here for the people.
Attaboy.
I felt bad for people in the store today, like, because a lot of people are being very polite, and they're like, oh, unless coming in here, they'll go to shake my hand. I'm like, no, not today.
I'm not feeling the best.
Maybe if I didn't like them, I'd shake their hand.
Oh, there you go. Just like in their hand.
Also, by the way, people's respect for the alphabet has just plummeted since I said I was going out of business.
The alphabet?
Oh, yeah. Respect the alphabet. Things are in order.
Oh, people are just rummaging through.
Oh, my God. It's a madhouse now. I got to, like, follow every person after they leave and, like, reset everything.
Oh, wow.
It's gone mad.
You should probably...
Just because I'm closing doesn't mean that manners have gone away.
Everything must go, Zach. You said it yourself. Everything must go.
And manners.
Anyway, back to the book. We get Picard, who is working on trying to help with the Romulan relocation project, and he gets pulled out to a remote planet where there has been a Romulan settlement that was unknown about.
Yeah, with the events of the 2009 Star Trek movie, with Romulus about to explode, they need to evacuate.
Yes.
Probably in their best interest.
I think so. Supernova, I would not mess with it.
Yeah, so he goes and he finds them, and they're like, great, we're ready to leave. He's like, oh, you guys let your winemakers too? Isn't that neat? And then they're like, yeah, and these are all of our slaves that help us make the wine. He's like, hold the front door.
Yeah, you said there was only like 50,000 people, not 8 million people. Big difference.
Yeah, they're like, they're not people. They can die.
Yeah, there are indentured servants. We got here first.
And Picard wasn't about that.
No, the Prime Directive compels him to not do it.
He has relocated a lot of species, though.
Yeah, he has. Some willingly, some unwillingly.
That Native American one is...
kind of cringy.
Not aged well.
No.
Not even a little.
Though there was the Irish peasants. But
when it comes time to do an insurrection, he's like, never! Except those times I did it.
Yeah, always, and Worf always seems to be involved in the relocation of a species. The storms have returned.
Of course, he's kidnapped by the Romulans because they're like, hey, we just don't trust Starfleet. Also, we have your ship now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's like, oh, I should have put the club on it. Some stupid commander just like, oh, yeah, here, voice authorization. Have at it.
Yeah, you can do what you want. Although the show has flat out come out and told us, like, we're not doing Next Generation 2.0. I feel like this comic does that as well because you feel like, oh, man, the ship's been taken over. Who could save them? The Enterprise. But nothing like that happens.
No.
He's out on his own and who knows what's happened to everyone else.
It ends up being 2 Romulans, members of the Tal Shiar.
Yeah, Romulan Secret Service members. But not the Secret Service. Just the Secret Service.
Exactly.
There's a secreter one.
No, I mean, without going through it and spoiling it for everybody, I think it's enjoyable. It's a fun, quick 3-issue read, and it's certainly, if you like the Picard TV show, you'll like the read.
Yeah, I think it captures everything really well.
Yes.
I do think it's funny that it ends on a really positive note. Picard's like, and I think everything is going to turn out okay.
Wrong.
Yeah, no. Nothing turns out well. The Romulans are still jerks.
Yes, they are.
Good ale, though.
It's illegal.
So I'm told. Oh, speaking of, I did think it was interesting that they went with this again, where they went to, like, Countdown to Picard. There's been a couple other ones of, like, Countdown to something. And their place in canon really fluctuates. Like, we had done one before that was a bridge between Next Generation and the J.J. Abrams movie. That one's out the window. Doesn't count anymore.
Yeah. No, this fits in with canon. I can believe it being things that happen.
Yeah, we had, like, 10 years with that other one of thinking that was canon. But that's something weird about comics is sometimes, canon is flexible.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know, read it. Check her out if you want to see what Picard was doing in a stupid uniform and his relationship with his first officer who doesn't like him anymore for some reason.
Well, I mean, she did get captured by Romulans.
I don't think that was the reason.
Certainly couldn't help their friendship.
Living out at Vasquez Rocks,
Mm.
where Kirk first fought the Gorn, and every other movie is filmed there.
Yes.
Yeah, pick it up. 3 issues. It'll be out in trade in a couple months. I say grab it. All right, that's that for that.
Okay.
Since
Smooth transition.
Since we have our 200th coming up next week, I'm banking all of the questions.
Okay, so we had different questions today.
Today we're going to do something new, start a new segment, because sometimes, questions are hard to get and I get sick of begging for them. Please just send more. But instead we're going to try out a new segment.
I'm sick of begging for them, and then you immediately beg for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're on to me. We're going to have a theme for this. We're just going to jump into a new thing called Trivial Trivia.
Okay.
This week, we'll just quiz each other with stuff. There's, no prizes, no money, no anything. You can play along at home. In front of me, I have a pop quiz deck for Batman.
Okay.
It has 195 questions and answers. I have not looked ahead at these.
We're going to do all 195.
No, we'll just do like a sheet each.
Okay.
I haven't looked ahead at the answers. Some of them are really obvious, and some of them are just hyper specific. Like, oh my God.
All right. Well, let's see how we do.
They're like, when did this event happen? Like, Detective Comics issue 382. I'm like, I ain't getting those ones.
That's not going to help me out.
But let's start with Trivial Trivia. I'll do a sheet for Jared and then in turn play along at home.
All right.
Or in the car. Start wagering your money, but not in the state of Maine. Don't tell me how to play trivia instructions. Right off the bat. What is the name of the very first Batman story in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939?
Enter the Bat.
I like your attempt. The answer is The Case of the Chemical Syndicate.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Well, yes.
In Batman, The Man Who Laughs, 2005, who injects themselves with Joker toxin to stop the clown prince of crime?
Robin?
I'm sorry, the answer is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Brucey.
He was doing some drugs to beat the Joker.
All right. I'm 0 for 2.
I think you're going to be 1 for 4, to
be
honest.
All right, that's fine.
Like, so some of these sheets are easy, some of them are hard. It varies wildly.
All right.
What was Batman's online screen name first revealed in Detective Comics 845 in 2008 so Batman could go online and debunk information about Batman? If people were like, I think Batman's Bruce Wayne, he's like, no, it's not. Here's the proof.
I'm not Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. You think that's his screen name?
No, it's like Dark Knight 2019.
You think that's going to make people not think he's Batman?
Oh, I don't know.
John Doe.
That's
297. This is a maybe. You might be able to get this
All
one.
right.
I lied to you not. But someone at home might.
Okay.
In the third installment of Frank Miller's Dark Knight trilogy, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, in 2015, where do the villains escape from? I'll even give you an extra hint. They're Kryptonians.
From the negative zone.
So close. Your head's in the right spot. The Bottle City of Kandor.
Oh, what the hell is that?
Okay. It's a city that Brainiac made really tiny from Krypton. Superman just has it in a jar.
Oh, okay. I guess the Bottle City makes sense.
And here we go. You got this one.
Okay, let's go.
What is the original Robin's secret identity?
Oh, Dick Grayson.
There we go.
All right.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, boy. I'm not going to have a much easier time than you.
I'm not going to give you that one because you've already seen the questions. You got to.
Well, I haven't seen the answers.
No, but I didn't even know what the questions were coming, so you didn't have time to think about it.
I was going to go through this in order, and now you've just screwed the pooch on that.
Well, it's okay. All right. What was the original name of Batman's butler when he debuted in Batman number 16 in 1943?
Oh, I don't. Fritz or something.
Alfred Beagle.
Alfred Beagle. That's right. It was that fat one that kept on trying to catch him. Yeah.
This one's an easy one. Professor Jonathan Crane is the alter ego for which Batman adversary first introduced in 1941?
Scarecrow.
Which Batman villain got his name from an English nursery rhyme?
Solomon Grundy.
Correct.
Born on a Monday.
Yes. Which Batman villain... Oh, I already asked that one. What is the source of Bane's super strength?
Venom.
And what is the name of the copper-haired reporter who suspects Bruce Wayne is Batman?
Copper-haired. Vicky Vale.
4 for 5.
All right.
Look at you. Well done. Bravo.
All right, that was Trivial Trivia. Let me know what you guys think. We're also not going to just do Batman. We could mix it up with other stuff.
Yes.
But just something to experiment with. I like it. I think it's interesting.
That was very cool.
I think it's fun to play along with podcasts and try and guess things.
It is.
Maybe that's just me. But that's it for this week. One more plug for our 200th episode. If you could write us a question at editorsnotecomics@gmail.com, it would be appreciated. I guarantee we could use more. Except for this one guy. This one guy's got us covered.
All right.
You know who you are.
Sound guy?
No.
Oh. Question guy.
Yes.
Is he the Riddler?
No.
The question man.
There we go. But yeah, we'll be back next week for our 200th episode. We're not seeing Birds of Prey, which is too bad because I think it looks pretty good. But instead, we're going to go see Kevin Smith live doing Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yes. In the meantime, if you enjoy the show, go to patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. $1 a month gets you this show a whole day early, plus spoiler and spoiler-free reviews of Buffy, Angel, and Firefly. Also, stop by Zach's store, 210 Water Street in Hollowell, and that's only going to be open through the end of the month. Everything must go.
It really must.
Yeah. Lots of things. Pretty much everything is for sale.
Basically.
Yeah, including, Zach's. Zach is for sale.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a Twitter.
@JuniorRich.
We'll be back next week. Hopefully, I won't be sick.
Stay classy, Space Cats.
Maybe you will be.
You're not that lucky.